Hello people, and a huge welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name is Asa and I am back with another Sims 4 speed build video. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this, and so without further ado, let's get on to talking about this build. So I wanted to do another build for the world of Sulani after making my previous family home on the water. I was feeling the summery vibes. My boyfriend has also been watching a lot of Hawaii 5.0 at the moment, so I'm watching a lot of sort of islandy scenes, lots of bright colours, sunny vibes, and it is making me long for summer. So I decided to build a bar on the sunny island of Sulani. Keeping it in with the kind of island feel, if you will, I wanted to do kind of like a tiki bar sort of thing. That was the sort of inspiration that I was using when I was searching on Pinterest for different photos and whatnot beforehand. As seems to be the case nowadays, I didn't end up actually copying a specific photo or anything. I looked at a few photos for inspiration and then just decided to wing it. I was also inspired by Kate Emerald. She has to be my favourite Sims YouTuber and biggest inspiration, at least when it comes to creating my own YouTube and builds on The Sims. So she has recently done an underwater build, absolutely nothing like this one, but it put the idea in my head, and I think that's the great thing of watching other builders. Sometimes, you know, they might have a completely different style to you, but watching them come at a project and come at it from their own angle can kind of put some inspiration in your head, make you think of ways that you would do what it is that they're doing, and really just give you that motivation to actually sit down and build your own project. And that is what happened with this. So I am building on a 30 by 20 lot, so obviously not a massive lot size, and because I wanted to give a kind of underwater feel, so there is a downstairs. As you can see, I've built a basement in the pool area, so that when you're downstairs in the area, which will have a dance floor as the video progresses, you can actually see out and see the fish that I place in there later on. But yeah, because I wanted to include the water, obviously that did take up a significant amount of the space available, so I really tried to fit in as much as I could without making it look too cramped. But yes, I'm just going around and adding the windows at the moment. I wanted this to be completely windowed, so to speak. I know that's not a word, but you know what I mean. Full windows all around the building in the basement, so that wherever you're looking from, you can see the water surrounding you. I felt like that really helped keep up that summertime and sort of holiday vibe. Oh my gosh, I do need to mention, this actually wasn't going to be my next video. I actually built this project yesterday, and I completed it in just over 9 hours, which is actually a really short amount of time for me. Usually my builds take absolutely days. I watch other videos of other builders and I don't know, like people say, oh, I had so much footage, and then it might be like 9 hours or something, and I'm thinking, wow, that would be ideal if I only had 9 hours for every video. I was able to edit this one so quickly with that, but most of the time I end up with like 40 hours worth of footage. Granted that my means of recording when I am building is by streaming on Twitch, so if you do ever stop by and see me on there, you will see my process. I keep the stream going even when I've gotten up and gone to the loo or gone for food or whatnot. So there is periods, you know, where I can just simply trim and cut those break periods straight out of the video. But yeah, so this one was really quick in comparison to the norm. And what I was working on before I decided to do this build was a witch's house, and it was kind of like an old school Victorian build. It was done in a sort of pastel blue shingles colour from Cats and Dogs. It looked wicked. I was using the Realm of Magic windows. It was such a vibe, honestly. It was so nice. And then one day I came on and my game crashed, and at this point I got the whole structure in place. The back garden and the bulk of the landscaping was done. I just finished furnishing, well, the bulk of the furniture was done in the ground floor rooms, and I'd done 3 out of the 6 or 5, I should say, 6 bedrooms it was. So basically coming right near the end of the project, and my game wasn't loading up. So what it was doing was basically saying game data incomplete. If you proceed, your world will load up dodgily. It wasn't saying it quite like that in much more formal terms, I'm sure, but yeah. And it basically wasn't registering that any of my DLCs were downloaded onto my console, despite the fact that they were. So I uninstalled them all, I reinstalled them all, I hard reset my Xbox, I stopped game sharing with my boyfriend temporarily to make my Xbox my home Xbox again, just in case that was having any impact on it. I rang EA, I rang Microsoft, who were telling me the only thing that I could do would be to completely delete my save file because it seemed to be corrupt. And I don't even know, I tried so much, and in the end it wasn't even loading to the main menu, it just wasn't even syncing at all. I was completely panicked. I thought I'd lost not only the witch house, but everything other than the few things that I have on my gallery so far. So I was pretty devastated. And then lo and behold, it started syncing, and it literally took probably about an hour for my game to sync the data, which is insane and is definitely reason to try and get a newer Xbox, but you know, we'll see. So yeah, it came back. I have everything back. I was delighted. I had lost hope completely, but here we are. But in spite of that and all that stress, it kind of had killed my motivation for the witch house a little bit. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna move back to Solani, do something with some brighter colours, a smaller project, and see if that sort of boosts my motivation back up. And it will, and I will go back to that witch house, and it will be, I will create a speed build video of that when it is complete. You saw that I was decorating the upper level, the circle building. This was actually really difficult to decorate because it obviously, one, with it being circular, and two, because it's only a small space, and I wanted some seating area in there. I was originally thinking about having a bar in there, but like the only circular bar that I've got, I don't know if there's any others available in different packs that I don't own, so let me know in the comments if there is. But the only circular bar that I have is from the Journey to Batuu pack, and it was too big for the room. It didn't look right, and I honestly spent the longest time just furnishing that simple circle room, and I was getting moody with it, to be honest with you. I turned to my boyfriend and I was just like, it just doesn't work, it just looks ugly, I don't know what to do with it. And he just kept on nudging me, like encouraging me. He was like, you just need to reshuffle your tables around, you just need to do your thing and make it pretty. And I was like, I can't, I just don't know what to do with this room. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever felt like that when you're building. Sometimes, like, the room almost decorates itself, like you have a vision, you can see what it is that you want, and then other times it's like, how do I fill this space? How can I place things in this room in a way that is going to look visually appealing? And nothing that I was doing I was liking, but he kept on saying to me, my boyfriend did, he was like, you can make it pretty, I know you can, you always can. And in the end I did end up quite happy with it. I used tables and chairs from the City Living expansion pack. There's a small square dining table in that has like some really cool swatches and pretty patterns on, and I felt like it worked with the sort of aesthetic of this place. That being said, if you don't own the City Living pack, those were the only two things I think I used from that in the whole build. So you could easily use some different dining rooms, dining table and chairs if you wanted, or fill the space however you saw fit. But if you did choose to do that, then good luck, because like I said, for some reason it just felt like such an awkward space to fill. What I did then do as well in there, I used the tiles. Like, I say tiles, they're kind of like the, I cannot think of the word for them, but like square, I guess they are kind of like tiles, they're from the Jungle Escape pack, and they have like the tribal, different tribal pictures on them, if you will, sort of Egyptian-y looking like. I placed those around the bottom half of the wall in there, and I felt like that finally was what made it pop, and sort of come to the kind of expectation that I had in my head, or sort of idea that I was wanting at least. Yeah, so in terms of packs, the only 3 packs that I would say that are hugely important for this build would of course be island living. As you can see around the landscape around the edge of the pool, I've used heaps of debug island living rocks and shrubs and flowers and trees, absolutely loads. That debug pack, the debug stuff for island living is awesome. There is heaps of different choice. I've also used quite a bit from Jungle Adventure as well. But yeah, island living, Jungle Adventure is definitely a must for the look of the tiles in the circular room. And get together, not a huge amount of separate items, but there is 8 items that I've used, and they are pretty important items for the build. So it's stuff like the dance floor, one of the bars that ends up downstairs here in the bottom, the DJ booth, that was the word, the DJ booth that's away to appear just shortly at the moment. As you can see, I was using the bigger dance floor before, but then it just wasn't fitting symmetrically, and I try to not like symmetry as much as I do, but it's one of them. If I feel like something's sitting just out of place, I want it to be spot on and perfect. So I went with the smaller one and simply used 2 of them to elongate the shape of the dance floor, and I think that looks quite effective in the end. Here I'm just trying to find out where I can fit in my DJ booth. I was considering putting it up there, but then there wasn't quite space, and in the end I decided to go to use this end of the room, just creating a little platform structure for the DJ to sit up within, to kind of separate them off from the rest of the room a tad. So it was a bit different with the club part of this build in the basement, the nightclub part, if you will. Obviously, usually nightclubs are darker. Of course, there's the coloured lights and that you'll see, but the actual structure is more of a darker building than is the case with mine. Obviously, it's all open to the water. What I do to kind of counteract that a smidge is add in lots of the island living debug rocks that I was on about down at the bottom as well, so that it feels more like the building is underwater in a natural pond or lake, if you will, rather than in a sort of man-made pool. And I think that that's pretty cool. Yeah, here we go. I'm adding these in now. I was using some debug flooring as well, just to add some texture to the ground. And I think this ends up looking really effective. I did want to add in some lighting, some cool coloured lighting out in the water. But I was really disappointed, because when you look out of the window from within the basement, as like The Sims would, you can't actually see the lighting. It just appears as if it's not there until you spin your camera around and look at it from the sort of outside the building perspective. So I didn't end up bothering with that. But what I do use, and this is another thing from the get together that's quite important, just because I think it really adds to the vibe of the building, is they're like bubble machine things, drain things in the pool. I just placed a load of them under the island living debug pavement bits that I'd dropped in the bottom of the water, and that creates this really misty, steamy effect and bubbly effect in the water, which looks super effective, especially once I've added in some fountains towards the end of the video. So another new thing that I've heard about literally today as well. Well, I say heard about, I knew that they were coming sort of, but I saw the post that the Sims tweeted out yesterday that is in relation, I guess, to their roadmap for this coming year. And so they've said that we've got one expansion pack coming and 2 new kits. Now, to be honest with you, like I've said in my previous videos, that as I didn't start playing The Sims until, like, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, I still don't have all of the packs anyway. That way, when the sales come on, which in all fairness to them are pretty regular, I can go on and get a new pack, which to me is new, obviously not to everybody, but to me is new, and I can get one cheaper. So I'm not necessarily super hyped about new packs because of course they'll come out full price, and I guess I wouldn't be lying to say I'd rather pay half the price than full. So yeah, let me know if you guys are excited for the pack, well, the new packs, or are you the sort that would rather wait until they come on sale like me? I don't know, let me know. But yeah, so just doing the final touches now in terms of the landscaping by adding different fountains in. I used I think it was the dome fountain and the jet fountains in medium and large to create this design. And as I said before, with the blue lights falling onto the steamy water created by that bubble thing from Get It Together, I think it looks super effective and super realistic as well. Oh, I've just thought as well, I don't think I've mentioned about how I got the fish in the pool yet. This is a well-known trick. It's not revolutionary by any means, but it is how I was able to do this. So all I did was took any of the fish tanks. I believe there might be others in packs that I don't have, but I do have them from Cats and Dogs Spa Day, and I think there was another one, but I'm not sure. So again, when you look at this build on the gallery, it will show you that I've used heaps of different packs, but it's like one item from each one. And like in the Cats and Dogs case, it's literally just the fish tank. But yeah, back to the point. So I took the fish tanks and went into live mode. Then I clicked on the fish tank and clicked fully purchase, like purchase all fish or something along those lines, like fully stock the fish tank with fish. I think it costs 150 simoleons off the top of my head. I did that with every tank, and then I went back into build mode, sized them down, and you're simply left with the contents of the tank, so your fish and a few bits and bobs of little bits of plants and seaweed and whatnot. They just meld into your pool, so that when your Sims hop into the pool, despite it looking like they shouldn't be able to get into this pool because I didn't really build it with access, it wasn't really supposed to be a pool. But then when I opened it up and went into live mode, my Sim just immediately hopped in and went for a swim. So I was like, well, you know what, that's cool. You can literally have a swim with the fish in this build. I think that I would like to do another underwater building in the future. My biggest gripe with creating underwater structures is, well, working with pools, I guess, overall, is that you can't have a 2-story pool. Because how cool would it be if, you know, I could have dropped this building 2, even 3 levels underground and had the water the whole way. Like, it would have looked so much more impressive than just the one. But hey, I'm still happy with how it turned out in the end, by all means. I'm just spinning around and adding bits more of lighting to the outside now. Also going through, like I said, and stocking up the fish. This is exactly what I meant, just clicking to fully stock the tank with all of them, and in just a second you will see me go through and size them down. There we go. So as I said, you can see just like a few bits of seaweed and whatnot, along with your fish swimming about. Providing that you've got your fish tank hidden, there is actually no way of it being obvious to the eye what's going on there, other than that you've got fish in your water. So I just hide the fish tank under the sort of rocky ground bit, and then I go through and add some I want to say grass, but to have grass in the pool doesn't sound quite right, but some like planty bits and bobs around the outside, just to again add a touch more realism and make the pool feel a little bit more natural rather than man-made. But yeah, I'm going to bring this voiceover to a close just shortly. You can find this build on my gallery. My EA ID is miss_Asa, or you can search it by searching for the item name, which is the Hula Hut Tiki Bar. That will all be in the description, along with any extra info about this build. You can also follow me on Instagram now. My Instagram is miss_Asa_RP. I would be super grateful to see you there as well. You'll here see a bunch of screenshots coming up just detailing the final build. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fabulous day or night, wherever it is in the world that you are, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!